Hi, Joe Cerrone. Welcome to our weekly CAD 136 Advanced AutoCAD for Interior Design weekly Zoom meeting. So today we're going to take a look at Chapter 14, and we're going to continue working in that area to build some three-dimensional drawing skills. So last night I made a couple of videos, one for modeling the lamp and the other one for modeling or creating the two-dimensional geometry of the reception room. And I figured I'd use today's Zoom meeting to show how to do some of the 3D applications as well. So I'll make two videos today, one to go through the material, what we should be working on, and the second one to model the reception seating area. So chapter 14 assignments, we want to turn in the first ones that we did last week for lab number 1 next week. So they're due on the 11th. And we're going to continue to work on those. We'll start to look into starting to model, and we'll use the 3D modeling for the conference rooms from chapter 3 as a good launching point because they're fairly simple and we worked on those last semester. If we look at the textbook, where we left off last time was with these different revolves and extrusion type commands. And so if I back this up a little bit more, last week we went through working with extrusions. And so you can create a shape in 2D and then extrude it or press pull it. And so the way that the author does everything, they're doing it really quite difficult because everything is with numbers where you have to read how to draw. And so I went through and made some videos last week and we did some of the assignments. And it's fairly straightforward. When you extrude a shape though, you need to have either a closed polyline or you have to use press pull, which will enclose the polyline. It makes it into a polyline or into a region. And so we went through that last week. We went through the revolves. This is a nice project that we can actually make in 3D print. So you want to do that as well. And as we start to look at some of these other exercises in 14, we can start to work with chamfers and fillets. We can model these mechanical parts. Mechanical parts are easier to learn 3D modeling than some of the architecture ones. There's just not as much out there, but it's very workable. I did some other work last night on the table and the lamp, and we'll go through things like Boolean operations and being able to subtract and union. And then next week, we'll look at some of these other more advanced three-dimensional applications like sweeping and lofting. You can get by with 2.5D with just extruding and revolve to get started. And that's what we're going to do. And so the assignments from last time were to create these different shapes. And then we also had another one where we did these primitives. I'll have to locate that. Let's see if I can get that. And so we just created these shapes with these different primitive using the workspace for 3D modeling. And if you switch over the workspace, you'll get a different ribbon. And then the menu bar disappears, so you have to reactivate the menu bar. And so once the menu bar is reactivated, you can have all your old commands back. So continuing, if we look at the projects from last week, we have them in the main splash page. We're to do the primitives, part 1 through part 5. And then we have these other 3 drawings. One of them was for the box and the other was the snow cone. And then this one is straight from the textbook to create this revolve. They're really not too bad. I believe we did a video on how to do those, and you can watch that video right here. So with that, that's last week's assignment. And then this week's assignment, what we're going to work on is going to be the exercises at the end of the chapter, because going through helixes and sweeps and lofts is pretty advanced. And we want to spend some time on just extrusions and revolves, because it's a very straightforward way to model things. So at the end of the chapter, there's some exercises. I tried doing these last night, and they're really very mechanical in nature. They have these crazy angles and things. So I was thinking about not doing these, and I think I'm going to stick with not doing these at this time and go with more things that we can actually use, like this table. And the way that the author has these exercises, they want you to know how to read a scale. So what you ought to do is go on Amazon if you don't have one and buy an architectural scale. And you can get one for about $8. And so you want to make sure that it's an architectural scale so that you can measure the dimensions for this table for the lamp. I went through and I measured it. This is about 2 feet by about 2 feet high. So it's not a very big table, but it's a little tricky in modeling this bottom part here. And so we're not going to do that one this week. We'll save that one for next week, but you're welcome to go ahead if you feel comfortable with it. We are going to do the reception room seating, and we can actually, as I think about it, include that in our exercise. As we start modeling rooms, we can start to model the reception room as well as these conference rooms. Okay, so the way that this works is this week we're going to create the drawing for the reception room heating. It's reception room seating. It's two-dimensional. So these are just lines. And so I made a video how to draw this. This couch setup, it's 8 feet 6 by 8 feet 6. And then this is a chair right here, and it repeats. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 chairs, and then you have a coffee table and an end table. And then this view right here is the elevations. And so they're just making a cube out of the coffee table and out of the corner table. And then the way you read this chair is it's an elevation. So you picture yourself looking at the chair in front of the chair. And so this would be the sides, and this would be the cushion that you sit on. And so the cushion is 9 inches from the floor to the bottom, 17 inches to the top of the cushion. And then the sides of the chair are 27 inches tall. And then you have this rectangle here that makes up the back end of it. So I've got a video for how to do the two-dimensional, and you can watch how to do that. I was going to give you the geometry, and I said, wait, that's too easy. You guys can draw up the 2D. And so you need to draw up the two-dimensional aspects of it. I didn't draw the elevations. You can certainly do that if you want to. But having an architectural scale will help fill in the gaps for missing dimensions. And then the other drawing that I made a video for is how to do the solid model of the lamp. And it's really not that difficult. I used to, and I still do, like to insert images into my CAD drawings and then trace over them. So I did that last night. And so there's 2 files. If the file fails, you can email me and I'll help you reassociate the link between the image and the CAD drawing. But it should work if you have them in the same directory. So when you download the files for this, what I've done is I've located the files under content, and then I made a subdirectory called project 14-4 lamp, and you'll see it over here on the side, project 14-4. And I included the file for the lamp and the image file. And so you want to download these 2, and then you can watch the video for that. Okay, so that's our quick review. This week, we're going to go through and work on 2 projects from chapter 14. We're going to work on the reception seating and modeling the lamp. And then you're to turn in the projects from lab 1 to the lab 1 folder. And you're to model the cube and then set up viewports for the front, top, right side view. You're to draw the, I think it's a paperclip holder and the dimensions are in the book. And then you'll use a revolve for that. And then we just have this fun sort of primitives, taking a sphere with a torus and a cone and being able to put those together using O snaps. And you'll use either 2D or 3D O snaps. Okay, that's our Zoom meeting for today. I'll see you next week online. Thanks.